truthed out saying, quote, I have authorized a 90-day pause. The president here announcing a 90-day pause on tariffs, so it's not clear specifically which countries this pause is going to apply to. The Dow right now shooting up over 2,000 points. Look at that as this announcement comes through, a giant spike in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This is important as part of the messaging around this post. The president saying that this is based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called the U.S. and try to work out deals with the administration and not try to retaliate for his tariffs. Notably, though, the president is raising the tariff applied to China from the United States to 125% effective immediately. So this pause applies to other countries, not China.
That's right, a 90-day pause on new tariffs except for China, which again goes to 125%. And the markets obviously ebullient they are as they are hearing this news. Let's go to Jeff Zeleny. He is live for us at the White House. This is what they had been hoping for, the markets. They actually kind of imagined it the other day and had a little bit of a jump into positive territory. But this is the announcement from the president, Jeff.
Brianna, that was certainly a test run, but certainly not an intended one to see the markets go up when there was a false report of a pause. But now we are hearing from the president for the first time during this escalating trade war saying that he is putting a 90-day pause. And you can just see to the right of our screen there what the markets are doing with this. From a policy standpoint, it is a bit more murky. The White House has not filled in any details of this, but we are getting this from the president on social media as you were reading there. And he is explaining it as adding more to the China tariff pot, which is really growing day by day here, adding another tariff to China, even as he is praising the countries who he said have not retaliated. And those, of course, are the countries who are lining up to have discussions with the Treasury Secretary, with the White House, with the administration on trying to renegotiate. So the president is saying, and let me just read it to you here, he said, the countries who have not, at my strong suggestion, retaliated in any way, shape, or form against the United States, I have authorized a 90-day pause and substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%, also effective immediately. So what this would seem to be, and again, we will have to fill in the blanks here, what this would seem to be taking all the countries back to that baseline 10%, if you will, which went into effect last Saturday for most countries. And then, of course, the reciprocal tariffs went into effect at midnight. So the president is putting a pause on those. Of course, this is adding to the policy uncertainty, but you can see what the market is doing. It's adding a bit of certainty to the market. So we're expected to see the president in the next hour here at the White House. We will see if he adds any meat on this bones here, but certainly a significant reaction from the White House. They've been reeling here, watching the financial markets really have a deep negative effect on this. The president has long said, at least during this period, he's not watched the markets. We know, of course, watching him for a long time, he does. And clearly, this is something that he's been hearing from Republicans on Capitol Hill, Republican donors, really people who are supportive of his policy, saying it's time for an exit ramp. So that's what it looks like this will be, at least for now, a 90-day pause on those reciprocal tariffs. For Brianna.
Jeff, please stand by. We've just learned that the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, will be speaking publicly soon. This also as we await to hear from President Trump. Markets, as you can see on the screen right now, are reacting very positively to this news. Let's bring in CNN's Matt Egan and Richard Quest. Richard, first to you, I wonder what you make of this announcement from the president, given the insistence from some folks in his administration that these tariffs were here to stay.
I think that there's a sort of duopoly of issues taking place. The first is the tariffs, and the second is the execution. The tariffs themselves, the president still loves tariffs. So he's going to want to, in some shape or form, bring them back. This is his raison d'etre in terms of economic policy. But he's seen how damaging, and now he says he's got so many countries coming towards him, wanting to negotiate. He wants to give time for that to take place. It all begs the question, why, when they announced the reciprocal tariffs, didn't the president say they take effect in 90 days? You all have 90 days to negotiate. Why did it have to be done this way? To get to a result. There is let's be clear, there is no more certainty about US trade policy now than there was half an hour ago than before this announcement. The only difference is that the sword of Damocles has it's actually been dropped, has now been lifted back up again, and so you're seeing the market. This is a relief rally. This is not back to the races. This is them saying the worst has not happened just yet. But it does not, this I can't emphasize enough, it does not take us back to anything like the level of certainty that business seeks about what the US trade policy actually is.
Yeah, no, it's a state of execution. Richard Quest, hang with us if you will. I want to bring former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers back into the conversation. Larry, react to this news.
Look, this is a welcome development. What everyone has been saying is that the policies that are being pursued are very dangerous, that the truculence is catastrophic for economic interests because of the uncertainty that it generates. And we've seen a major retreat by the president from the truculence. It doesn't put the genie all the way back in the bottle. It doesn't eliminate all the uncertainty, but it's obviously a welcome step that we are backing away from major blunders. And the market is appropriately welcoming that step. But credibility is a thing where it takes a long time to build up and only a short time to lose. And we've lost a lot of it in the last few days. So this action, as welcome as it is, certainly doesn't leave our credibility completely restored. But I'm glad that we've had a demonstration that the president is able to listen. And I wonder whether the Secretary of the Treasury wants to reconsider his remarks about the Spain cutting its own throat in light of the president's prudent decision to back off. Hopefully, we will now start listening to sense in the formulation of our policy. This is a very welcome development, but no one should be confused. If anyone thought there was a carefully crafted, well-designed strategy behind what went on Liberation Day or since, this reversal, after all the statements that were made even earlier this morning, should remind people that we are engaged in dangerous rhetorical improvisation, not serious policy making.
Larry, please stand by. You're seeing at the bottom of your screen a position on the White House grounds known as the Sticks, and it's essentially a live position where we are listening to Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, alongside Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Let's listen.
Trade plan, as you all know, the president just put out a statement announcing an additional tariff on China. The tariff on China will now go up to 125% because China imprudently decided to retaliate against the United States. And as I said at the podium yesterday, when you punch at the United States of America, President Trump is going to punch back harder. In that same vein, we have had more than 75 countries from around the world reach out to President Trump and his team here at the White House to negotiate better trade deals for the American worker. We have been overwhelmed with the amount of requests from countries around the world. I'll let the Secretary speak to that. We will continue with the tailor-made negotiations that I spoke about yesterday. In the meantime, there will be a 90-day pause on the reciprocal tariffs as these negotiations are ongoing, and the tariff level will be brought down to a universal 10% tariff. The Secretary here has been a huge part of the President's trade team, of course, and will continue to lead these negotiations moving forward to look out for the American worker, which is always President Trump's goal. So I'll kick it over to our great Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent.
Good, thank you. And we saw the successful negotiating strategy that President Trump implemented a week ago today. It has brought more than 75 countries forward to negotiate. It took great courage for him to stay the course until this moment. on. And what we have ended up with here, as I told everyone a week ago, there in this very spot, do not retaliate and you will be rewarded. So every country in the world who wants to come and negotiate, we are willing to hear you. We're going to go down to a 10% baseline tariff for them, and China will be raised to 125 due to their insistence on escalation. Well, China, no, China. Mexico and Canada. Are they part of the 10%? Yes. Okay. Second, given then that you have the rest of the world essentially calling it not China, is this not just all about China? Well, it's about bad actors, and what we will see is some of the very early countries are China's neighbors. We're going to see, I'm seeing Vietnam today, Japan's at the front of the queue, South Korea.